In this moment, you may not know what is your deepest fear in life, but you do know what is your greatest fear. The thing you struggle with the most right now, the thing you're the most afraid of right now. When I say this in this moment, you know what that is. And this is perfect. The reason is that because you know of it, now you know the entry point to your internal freedom. In this moment, I'm going to give you just something very real and true about my past. And what really gave me the insight into knowing that your greatest fear is literally the key to unlocking your internal freedom. So some years back, I was feeling that I wanted to understand what it means to be open. I thought I was open, but then a part of me felt like I still wanted to express myself more. And this also brings me to something else. You know that the relationship that I've struggled with the most is the relationship with my dad. This in relation to openness had a direct link, and I didn't know that. And I knew that the thing in my life that I feared the most was not having my dad be the way that he was when I was younger. And if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, if you haven't been following me, my dad has schizophrenia. When I was 8 years old, I knew of him one way. I would say from the age of 5 to about 8 years old, I knew of him one way. And that way was, he was so alive. I loved my dad. When he came home, I used to jump on him. I used to have all these great memories of doing that. But then one day, it changed. Literally, it felt like out of nowhere. I came home and my mom had told me that my dad went to the hospital and he needed to be in the hospital. And I knew that some days before I saw him walking outside in the freezing cold in the winter with no shirt on, some shorts and just shoes. And I was just wondering why he was doing this. My mom told me that he would be in the hospital and I didn't know how to take it. So I just thought it was just something that he was going through. And to make a long story short, he had mental breakdowns and he had episodes, things that happen when you have schizophrenia. And as he's going through these episodes and having these breakdowns, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with him. Because I knew him one way and then all of a sudden he became a different way. So it kind of felt like I was dealing with someone else. It didn't feel like I was dealing with my dad. It felt like I was dealing with a different person. Through my whole life, I wanted him to be that person again. It was the number one thing that I had to struggle with because my upbringing was quite wonderful in many ways, but my relationship to my dad changed everything. Him changing changed my relationship to him. And he started to have manic episodes. And manic episodes are when, they have outlashes of anger. And there was times where he would say stuff and I would feel hurt by it. And that was very different than what I was used to. And I had to get used to that and used to that and used to that. To the point where I just closed off to him. And the amount of pain that I felt in relation to the things that me and him had been through, I just didn't want to feel it again. So in life, I closed down as well. I closed down when people tried to get really close to me because I didn't want to play out that same thing. I became afraid of being hurt. That was my greatest fear. being afraid of being hurt by the same pain that happened with my dad. Having somebody be close to me, so to speak, not love me, not make me feel wanted. Because these are the things I wanted from my dad. I did. But because I wasn't getting that anymore, I was like, okay, I was feeling on the inside that I never want to feel this again. That became my greatest fear. That's why I give you that insight into my life, because my greatest fear in that moment, once I would see somebody or anything, is that I didn't want to get hurt. And that started to open a door for me. The way that it started to open a door for me, because I wanted to know openness, is that one night, the girl that I share love with now, she's over at my house. As I'm asleep, I have a horrible dream. In the moment, I felt it was so horrible, because my mom got shot in my dream, and I woke up and I just was like, I'm so afraid of people close to me hurting me in some way that I need to handle my relationship to my dad. I need to go away, and I need to be away from people. I need to be away from her, the girl that I'm seeing now. I need to be away from her. I need to be away from my friends. I need to go up into the hills, and I need to just let go of whatever is inside of me. And that's what I did. I went up in the hills. Right now I'm in Budapest. If you could see behind me, there's a place in the back. I went up in the hills and I found a secluded spot, and I just let it all go. I let this strong hold on me go. And I was like, if my dad is never the same that he was when I was younger, I will be okay. And even now, for me to even say that with no emotion coming up as far as like feeling hurt, that just lets me know how much I've been able to deal with this and how far I've come. My greatest fear, though, it not only showed me that I need to have peace with the fact that he may never, ever be that, it also let me see that there's things even deeper than that I fear. That's why I say your greatest fear, whatever it is the doorway. I mean, it's the key. Because that key unlocks so many different things inside of you that you don't even know that you fear. I didn't know that I feared being someone who was perceived as a bad person. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I never wanted people to see me as someone that's angry. Because I mean, if they see me as angry, then I'm not the good person. I never wanted to come across as an angry person, so I always try to put on that I'm positive and that I'm always this man of good energy. Then what was underneath that? Said I didn't want people to know that I did struggle with things that are, so to speak, on the side of negativity. That I did struggle with pain, and I had things inside of me that I didn't want to show. I didn't want to show my feelings, my emotions about me not being okay. Because I felt like if I showed me not being okay, then I'm not being an inspiration. But lo and behold, I started to see that in the showing that I'm not okay, I became more of an inspiration. And then it got deeper than that. I started to notice that I fear my innocence being taken away from me. Because growing up in a bad environment where violence was the outcome of anger and people were always fighting and there was killing and domestic violence, having all this, I didn't want my innocence to be taken away. So I secluded myself at times when I felt like my innocence could be taken away. And it manifested in ways where I would be away from my friends, or I would just lock myself in some way. And I didn't want to be around certain people. And then even underneath that, it was I didn't want to be identified with darkness. I didn't want to be identified with evil, with the bad side of life. I didn't want to have a part of me that was jealous or anything that's just a bad side. I didn't want to have that. I just avoided the dark side, so to speak. And I always wanted to be the light side and a lovely man, and that was just a beautiful being, and I avoided darkness. I hated that. All of this, though, the deepening, the being able to see more, the being able to notice that I'm more than this, the being able to see and a courage to go deeper and deeper and deeper has allowed me to become freer and freer and freer. The same man that's sitting here is not the man that's in 2016. It's not even the same man from last night, because I have the courage to see differently, to see more of myself. That's because I was able to look at the greatest fear and go, I know that if I don't let go of this greatest fear, I won't be able to be free. And when I let it go, I thought I was going to be free, but I noticed that I just had more strength to become more free. That's what it gave me. And that's what you will get. You will get more strength to be more free. People right now are like, you know what, man, I can't let go. I feel like I'm just so locked down. I just want to be free. I want to express myself. I want to just say what I feel. I don't want to feel like I'm closed down. I want to say it, man. I want to express. To say and express truly require courage. And there's levels of courage. There is. There's a person who can be extremely courageous. There's a person who can be a bit courageous. And there's every level in between. And the most courageous is the person who's just totally free. But each level requires a getting past, a letting go of a certain fear, letting go of a part of yourself. If you're just starting out in this journey, I don't expect you to be as free as me right now. This is the result of courageously facing the things that most people won't face internally. This is the result of that. Courageously facing parts of myself about who I think I am. Letting go parts of myself of like, fuck, I know that I don't want to let this go. I don't want to. Me actually feeling that. Me feeling recently like, one of the things that I used to hold so dearly in myself is protecting those who I love from the unconsciousness of the world. And I didn't know this until some time, like recently. I didn't want to let it go. I didn't. But I knew that if I didn't let it go, I just won't be free. I'll always feel like I'm obligated to protect those I love from the unconsciousness of the world. So I would give them insights. I would just try to give them little things like, you shouldn't eat that, or, you know what, let's go do this, because I know in this moment they can make a different choice. Instead of letting them walk their own trail, I would try to protect them from the parts of the trail that I knew could make them more unconscious. Trying to protect them from technology, trying to be an example of, you know what, you don't have to be a part of technology so much because it's a distraction. This is something I had to let go, and I didn't want to let go. But I had the courage. It took more courage for me to let that go than everything before that. Even my dad thing, because the deeper you go into your deepest fears, like the things you don't even see right now, the more free you're going to become. Your greatest fear is at the top. That just opens up the door to your deepest fears. That's all it does. Your greatest fear is vital to you. It is very vital. It is an understanding that if I don't face this, I can never get down to the depths of myself. People think that they can just face things in an outwardly manner. You know what? I'm afraid of heights, so I'll go do that. And then they notice that I'm not afraid of heights anymore. That's not your greatest fear. Your greatest fear is not you're afraid of heights. Your greatest fear is what does being in really tall places make you feel? And what about that are you afraid of? So it's not that you're afraid of heights. You're afraid that if you go up there, you may fall and die. So you're actually afraid of death. That's what you're afraid of. And how do you face death? Face your ego. Face the part of yourself that goes, I don't want to leave Earth. I don't want to stop being the person I am now. You need to face the part of yourself that's holding on to what you mean and how dearly you hold yourself right now in this moment of who you think you are. There's so many levels to this. And I'm taking you on this little journey with me right now because I feel like I'm on a roll. It's perfect. Your greatest fear is perfect. It truly is. Allow your greatest fear to show you the perfection that you are. You're perfectly fine. You actually are. But your fear tells you that you're not. Your fear tells you that there's something wrong, and you need to face what your fear is telling you. I'm going to give you something right now that's going to allow you to better face the thing that you feel like you're most afraid of. Whenever you locate it, whenever you notice, because it's going to require introspection, whenever you notice that, okay, this is what I'm really afraid of. I'm afraid of telling my dad no. I'm afraid of not being so available to my family. I'm afraid of if I go off and live my life, I won't be here to aid my little brother or something like this. My greatest fear is I will be poor or I won't make it if I go out there and I start traveling in the world, that I'm just going to become broke and I'm going to become poor and I'm on the streets. I hate poverty. I'm scared of poverty. When you find or you locate it, or what I mean, when I say locate, I mean internally. When you find what your greatest fear is, the thing you're most afraid of, I would like for you to just go down as far as you can into asking about it. When you start asking about it, like, why do I fear leaving my family? Or why do I fear poverty? Or why do I fear, as some guys will say, expressing myself in front of a woman? Whatever it may be. Or maybe you're a woman and you go, why do I fear getting really close to a man? When you start to go really to the depth of it and you ask and you go, maybe because I don't want to get hurt. Yes, great. You don't want to get hurt. But I want you to continue asking. Continue asking. If I get hurt, then what would happen? That means that I'll feel the same way that this person made me feel in the past. Now you're starting to get there. When that person made me feel this in the past, why do I not want to feel that again? Because when I felt that, it made me feel like I was worth nothing. It made me feel like I wasn't wanted by anybody. Now you're going deep. Now you're going deep. It's that you are afraid that you won't be wanted if you get hurt. Now do you see how the questioning, the spiral of questioning, the conscious questioning of each thing, not just letting your mind go all over the place, the conscious questioning and going deeper and deeper, how it's going to reveal something to you, and it's going to give you the chance to go, my whole life I have actually been running away from people because I deeply fear that maybe they won't want me. Not that they'll hurt me, but maybe they won't want me. When you locate it, you need to feel what that feels like to just not be wanted. You need to feel it. Whatever it is, go down, conscious questioning yourself, consciously doing it. And as you move into it, I want you to move into the feeling. Because this is the feeling you avoid. And as you move into the feeling, this will start to unravel. Something will start to come up. Maybe tears, maybe pain, maybe exhaustion before holding on to it so long. You'll start feeling tired. A lot of things will come up because of this, but this is the way for you to be able to walk through this in a healthy way, for it to uproot at some point. And I usually don't give things away like this, but this is one of the most powerful ways that I've learned to uproot something, so that I've learned to get to the depth of something. That's my little gift to you. I thank you so much for being here with me, and I'm getting a bit cold now. The weather is going down and the sun is going down. Your greatest fear is your greatest freedom. It leads you toward what it is you want internally. I would like for you to subscribe, because this is going to give you the chance to follow me in whatever I'm doing. Please share this with anybody who you feel needs this, because there's hella people who do. Share it, share it, share it. And I'll leave you with this. It's more important to be that which you are than to try to become that which you want. So never try, just be. I'll see you on Thursday.